All right, back with another video and audio for the podcast listeners. This is ATAS, Across Time and Space. So, you already know me. It's Ace. This is cross culture, but not really because it's ATAS. You know, we're doing big things out here. My co-host, want to introduce yourself?
It's your boy Tipsy Japan, back with another episode of ATAS.
ATAS.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Yeah. And it's round 8. Round 8. Yeah. Episode 8.
8.
I love the number 8. Don't hate.
So
if you're waiting for 9, just wait.
Some bad news. I got bad news, real bad news. So I've been saying for the last couple weeks, like, oh yeah, you know, we got 9 chapters, you know, and we have 2 more to go. And it turns out, because I listened to the chapter and got to the end of it, and usually I'll wait for the next chapter to start so that I can make sure that I'm not missing anything. It turns out that the 9th chapter was the end, and it was recommending another audiobook. But this will be the last episode going over Ta-Nehisi Coates' A Beautiful Struggle.
So sad. So sad.
Yeah.
No, I mean, all good things must come to an end. All good things must come to an end. But there are more books by Ta-Nehisi Coates, but there are quite a few books that have been affecting my life recently.
Okay.
So, yeah, what I'd like to do maybe is, and I should have discussed this with you sooner, but it's been on my mind to just, come up with a list of things that books, mostly books, that have affected my life in the last couple of months besides Ta-Nehisi's work. And either let the audience decide or let you decide or we can decide. But there have been so many great ideas. And this platform has been just a springboard into that conversation with a lot of people. So, I'm not worried about Ta-Nehisi's work being done. I'm worried about what we're going to pick next. And, you know, what I'm really going to pick your mind about.
So I have a suggestion.
Audience. Yeah, no, that was the other thing. It's like to take your suggestion next. What's on your mind?
All right. So I know that some people have been kind of playing catch up. I know specifically my little sister is like, oh, I haven't been able to watch, you know, when you guys go live. And I'm going to put in the description below, I'm going to put our link to all the episodes that we have thus far. But I think it'd be better if we take kind of a break, but not really a break. We do have the holidays coming up. I know that next week is going to be a little hard for me, being Thanksgiving. But we can have the show, but not have it be something so structured. So maybe we pick a topic and, you know, it's kind of just cut and done. That one topic for that one episode. And then we'll decide, maybe we'll throw it to a vote, or we can decide ourselves on the next book, and then we can kind of lead up to that.
That's an idea. That's an idea for the Thanksgiving podcast itself. Are we looking to go live on Thanksgiving night?
I don't think that I can. Honestly. I got a whole family that I got to worry about, you know.
I mean, I'd love to hear the fam, but you know, I'm probably just gonna call in and hear the fam. It's not for the whole world. No.
Not everybody deserves a front row seat to your life.
Exactly. Speaking of, we're gonna have some fam listening in very soon. Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. So if anybody wants to listen, in, you know, while we're actually recording the live podcast, you can check out Cross X Culture on YouTube, and you can check out TPC Japan. Cross X Culture might be a little bit hard to find because I'm not that popular, but it will be a CX and then a backward C on a field of blue, little circle. So if you want to come through, subscribe, turn on the notifications so that you know exactly when we go live. Then you can maybe throw up a little comment. We'll put it up on the screen. You'll be part of the actual recording process because we will speak to, at the very least, a comment. So
absolutely. I appreciate the plug also for TPC Japan, but yeah, you can find us anywhere. All right, Facebook, Instagram, the Twitter, whatever. The Twitter.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram.
I meant the gram.
I'm on Twitter. I'm on the gram. I even have a TikTok. So we out here.
Yeah. Hold on.
You're trying to wait for the peeps. Oh, what's up?
Oh, no. What we're gonna do is because I got to do a couple things to get that link to them. All right. So yeah, you can introduce the chapter.
All right. So you had stated before that there was like no titles, and from what I hear at the very beginning of the chapters, there's like a one-liner of a famous hip hop quote, especially the last two chapters. So this one, I had to blurt it out to make it family friendly, but use take sips of the brew. All right. Now, here's why this one is so great. Do you know which song this is from?
Go ahead. I mean,
all right. So
you did your homework. You did your homework.
No, this is one of my favorite rap songs actually. Use the condoms, take sips of the brew. Right? It's from a song named Reminisce by De La Soul.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the last chapter, and that whole rap song is talking about rites of passage. It's talking about growing up in the hood, things that are seen as normal, like a mother having 4 kids and 3 baby daddies, and the one man that she finally finds true love with, getting married in the house. It takes a bit of a winding story trail through some of the things that we've encountered, or some of the things that are not as far from us. So the song is Reminisce. It's the last chapter. What are you gonna be when they reminisce over you, my dog?
Okay. Well, it's a good choice. But why do you particularly like that song? You said it's one of your favorites, and it's interesting. Like, I'm gonna give some context to that before just dumping it on you. But just a couple days ago, Champ, who remained just Champ online, Champ mentioned another song that was one of his favorites, and I was surprised. I mean, not that like the particular song that he mentioned was something from our childhood, like before we even probably knew what rap was. It was a great song, and yeah, I was surprised by that. So I'm wondering, like, what constitutes a favorite?
What was the song? See, now I know Champ too. Like, what was the song?
What I'll do is I'll post it in the comments. And people will be like, "Oh, wow, that's that song." I mean, I don't want to like blow it up, but I might have to.
Go ahead. You want to put it in the private chat? Then I can copy and paste it. But I think.
Yeah, give him a link. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what the issue. I mean, not the issue, but the deep-seatedness around this song is that it's not your traditional rap song. This is back in the day. Mm-hmm. So it was early 90s, I believe. And
it's about the same time.
A lot of songs back then, they really leaned into jazz influence, and they had more of a melodic undertone. So it that's what took me. You know, it's the I think it's sax that's playing. It's like
that song.
yeah, reminisce. Reminisce.
Yeah. I mean, no, all you had to do was that beat right there. That
You know,
takes me.
like
Okay.
it's just so musically grasping, and
That's definitely the sax. Yeah.
that's I don't. That's one of the things that like really put me on, and it was part of the Street Volume 2 soundtrack, which kind of for those who don't play video games, NBA Street was a game where it was all about street ball, you know, less rules and more free expression. So the second game kind of played on more of the roots of basketball and the roots of hip hop. So it had a lot of older songs, and it really sucked me in, like playing against some of these legends of basketball, you know, doing crazy stuff, and then that was the soundtrack that you hear between the games. It's like, oh, all right, yeah, I'm feeling it, reminisce. Like, I don't know, it just I don't know, it gets me. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, like early rap, and this is like the sign that you're an old man, right? Because
oh no,
it's so like the music once upon a time was so serious, like the content was so potent, and now it's just like watered down to the point where cats are just mumbling. That's how little they're saying. That's how little they're saying now. That they're just mumbling. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Right? There was a social commentary at the time. Like you could play any of those songs from that period and it'll take you right back there. Right. And that's what TURTLE Power, you know, did for Chant, right? Partners in Crime. That was actually on a CD that I had. I think it was a soundtrack, as a matter of fact, from the first movie. Yeah. And like that, like if you go back and listen, like it will tell you the whole story. All right, of how like four turtles ended up, you know, and they're trying to, you know, fulfill their master's dream, you know, and that master, how, you know, he was trying to avenge his master, who was trying to get out of the business. He left the country, right, with his girl, and you know, his angry classmate, I don't know, dojo mate, decided to chase him down. And, tried to chase him down and kill the girl because they were fighting over the same girl. It's like, peace. I'm going to the U.S. I don't want no parts of this. And he was like, all right, I got you. And became the head of this, you know, underground organization called The Foot, you know, and then, you know, moved on to New York to open up their U.S. branch and found a dude and killed them both in front of his pets. So, you know, his pet avenged him by raising four teenage ninjas. And it's so deep. Oh my goodness. The song though.
So hold on. Because it's like I know the song, you know, I'm a fan. Hold on. Do I even have it down here? No, I don't think I do. I have a pair of shades that actually have Shredder's helmet, like the outline there. Yeah. So I mean, I'm a fan. For those who don't know, what's being talked about here?
The Shredder. What is that?
We're talking about the Ninja Turtles. So I mean, growing up, it was a big part of our lives.
That was huge. That was my first. That had to be my first interaction with like ninjas, Japan. The whole saga began.
Wow.
Right there, before I could even talk, there were Ninja Turtles in my life, you know. And then, you know, I moved on to eating ramen and playing video games. These are both from Japan, right? Ninja Turtles actually was not, you know, it was a bit of a spoof, but you know,
the satire,
yeah. I mean, you know, the brothers that came up with it in New York, they were interested in the culture. They saw like ninjas everywhere, and it's like, all right, let's make this thing accessible to kids. So when you look at the TV show, yeah, it's more. I don't want to say that it's just for kids, but it's a bunch of laughs. It's more like a sitcom. It's not that violent. You look at the first movie, that was violent. All right.
Oh yeah.
I remember the opening scene. He used an expletive, which we're not going to use on this show because I'm not that type of person.
That's not.
But opening scene, right? Oh, you find that real funny, huh?
Oh yeah, real funny, real funny.
Yeah. The second movie was even more kind of. I mean, in retrospect, it was dumbed down for kids. I mean, made it more accessible to kids and less for adults.
They never used their weapons.
They never took out the weapons. Right? That's so weird.
Yeah.
I guess they didn't need to, but in the first one they did.
Oh yeah.
And then in the third one, they were just trying to bring in that Japanese, real like hardcore Japanese like history into it. Yeah. With like Kappa demons and all kinds of and also the people from Holland. Their interactions with Japan and bringing in weapons, Japan's interaction with the West. Like they really
hit on a lot of deep stuff.
They did, but it wasn't entertaining, unfortunately. So most people didn't like number 3. Number 2 was fun, but number 1 was pretty hardcore. Yeah. That was hardcore, and I definitely recommend going back to watch or just listening to the song first, and that'll give you a pretty good synopsis of what was live in the late 80s, early 90s. If you need to reminisce.
If you need to reminisce now.
Yeah.
The original comic
bring
was
it full
made. It was made as a satire though, like to showcase all the violence in the comic book world. There was no defining characteristics between the 4 turtles besides their weapons. That was it. They were all white with black outline and dark colored mask. And then once they got a little more budget, it was red colored mask for everybody. Yeah. That just was it. But it goes to show you that these themes were prevalent at the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And the issue behind the comic book violence is like, well, if this is on display for children, are we kind of predisposing them and kind of numbing them to the sense of what violence is and how it can come into society and kind of mess it up? Or is it just saying, well, you can make your own choices, you're grown, right? So I mean, people who are grown, it's like, I know grown people that still act like children. I'm a grown man, I play video games, That's what it kind of boils down to. And Ta-Nehisi had this realization when he tells his parents that he doesn't want to go to the college that they want him to go to.
Right.
He says, I want to go to this other college. I don't want to go to Howard. I don't want to go to the Mecca.
Right.
I want to go here. Ta-Nehisi's dad said, you're grown. You can make your own choices. Ultimately, didn't end up too good for Ta-Nehisi and what he wanted. But there comes a point in all of our lives where kind of have to own up to your mistakes, your triumphs, your victories. Being downtrodden, like, you have to own it because your parents are not the ones holding your hand anymore. My mom, I don't think she ever really said that to me in so many words. What about you?
Oh no, I thought I was in timeout. No. About to get in trouble. I thought I was in trouble.
I'm sorry. Look.
No.
I'm talking too much. Just let me know.
No. Sometimes it's important. Like, I mean, you can go like center screen and just like, because that was quiet time. It was like, shut up, Kareem. Don't say nothing. Don't mess this up. That's what I was
No.
thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Oh
TP, don't you
no,
bring
no,
that
no.
TPC around here right now. I'm gonna lay it down. And no, he
No,
did.
not
No,
that serious.
it is an important point. I think my mother, in response to your question first, like my mother did have those talks with me, but I think she was more engaging in the sense that, okay, you can make your own decisions right away. Whereas my dad was more the type of not ready for that yet. He had this thing throughout my whole childhood. And if I haven't mentioned this before, I'm not mentioning it again. It's called negotiables and non-negotiables. All right.
Mm.
And when you're very young, there are a lot of non-negotiables. This is the law. That it is what it is. I will explain to you what it is, but we're not negotiating whether or not you're going to do that thing. All right. You're not at that point in your life when you can negotiate that. I make that decision. I'm informing you of what it is. I'll tell you the reasoning behind it if I think you can handle it. Otherwise, that explaining the reasoning behind it, that's not part of the deal. All right. That's not necessarily part of the deal. So you can make your own choices that's an interesting idea. I'd say that I was allowed to negotiate about certain things as I became older. And once I reached the age of adulthood, the age of independence, or the point of independence, then I can make my own choices. But until that point, as long as I'm still depending on them or him or her for something, I cannot say, well, it's just going to come down to my decision. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
I told you before about how I reneged on our whole thing of moving to New York versus staying in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
That was a negotiable because of the age that I was. And I think maybe in his mind, it was non-negotiable before, or had a very high level of non-negotiability. But, I pushed for it and right at the point where, it needed to be negotiable. I think it had to be negotiable. So, making my own decisions, like, I'd say another decision that I felt was completely on my own, like my parents didn't have any say in, was, that incident on campus. There was this one incident where I moved back on campus, and it was a big party that I probably shouldn't have been involved in. But I was one of the executive members of that party organization, and it turned out afterwards that the police were involved, and it was a big deal, and it was like, okay, what? Oh, the campus police, and
Okay.
it was at the point where they were going to transfer me to the real police, and we were going to have a hard talk. I was going to have to talk to a judge. Now I got off the hook because of that, because what I did was I think I saved one of the buildings on campus from a fire. I put out a fire.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's another kind of interesting story for another time, or maybe this time. What do you think? I mean, make your own choices. Does it follow the flow?
Go ahead. Yeah. Definitely. Hit it.
All right. So this is like, all right, I'm gonna give this in like 1 minute, and it's a really good story. But all right, there's one day I'm studying with the Japanese teacher. Okay, she's an assistant teacher, not like an actual class, but we're having a study session in the hallway of a building called the Ware Center. The Ware Center was brand new. When I left for Japan, they were building it. When I came back, it was done. Brand new building for the fine arts. And so I come back, and we're studying in the hallway. And then you look down the hall, and you kind of see this kind of haze. It looks like smoke. What's going on? Well, maybe it'll be fine. Then you start to smell the smoke. All right, you see smoke and smell smoke. It's probably a fire. All right, so you look down the hall. I look down the hall. Say, okay, well, let's try to tell somebody. No alarms are going off. Seems like it's not a big deal, but you see the smoke. Something's wrong. So she goes one way, I go the other way. In the direction I go, I follow my nose to this auditorium. And the auditorium's lights are off. I've never been in an auditorium before, but I can see at the far end of the auditorium, something is burning. Okay, so I get closer and closer to see exactly what it was. I go on to investigate Scooby-Doo mystery. It turns out that there was a curtain. There was a curtain, and underneath the curtain, a wooden staircase, and the curtain was tucked. The bottom of the curtain was tucked under the staircase, and there's like a ball of fire underneath it. Like, okay, this is a fire. It's an actual fire. Yeah. I don't see any fire extinguishers around. Let me go back in the hallway and, tell somebody. And I find the fire alarm, and then somebody hit the alarm before I got to it. All right, good. I see a fire extinguisher. I'm just gonna take that and pull out the fire. Yeah. I don't see anyone panicking, but the alarm is going off. So like we know this is real.
It's real. Yeah.
So I go back in the room with the fire extinguisher, and I've never used one before. And I pull the little pin on it, and I squeeze the trigger part, right? And it doesn't. This is making your own decisions. You can go run like everybody else, or you can put out the fire right away. But you've grown. I mean, I'm like 18, 19. I'm 19 years old. You make your own choice. I'm gonna put out the fire. There's a fire there. I don't need to wait for the building to burn down. Like it's manageable. So I squeeze the trigger and nothing comes out. Oh, this is dumb. This is real dumb. I'm probably breathing in a lot of smoke here. Maybe I should go run, And then, so I drop that fire extinguisher and I see another one now because the fire is getting bigger. So it's lighting the room. And there's another fire extinguisher. I grab that. And this one I have to shake it. I don't know if you're supposed to shake the fire extinguisher first.
I haven't used one ever. And I haven't read one in forever. So
Yeah, so I grab it, and then all this like white smoke comes out of the thing. So I guess that's what's supposed to extinguish the fire, and just and I just and step on it like I'm stomping the fire out, like with my Timbs on, and put out the fire. I don't know. It's pretty much as simple as that. They're like storm service doors on the left and right side of the stage. I go to the left, and now I'm out in the open in the yard, as they call it at my school, and I can see like a crowd of people, maybe 50, 60 people out there, just like and the fire team is there, and they're like, all right, what happened? I said there was a fire. I'm like, what'd you do? I put it out. Like, it's a stupid question. Oh, well, thank you. And then they go in to fix it, I guess. But at the end of the day, I got on the dean's list of special gifted students.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Yeah. So when I really messed up having a party with like 50, 60 people, they're just like, don't do it again. All right. And you have to leave campus. So I left campus, but I didn't have a place to live. So I'm looking around in Oxford, Pennsylvania, which is a really small rinky-dink town next to my university. And I find this one place. They were going to sell it for $7.75. And it wasn't listed yet, but I talked to like Century 21, and then they said, well, there's somebody who wants to put the place on the market, but he needs to paint it first. So I went there and I talked to the guy, and this little, greasy looking white guy, with he had tongue cancer because he cussed too much. He really cussed too much, right? And he was like, when I walked into the place, I knocked on the door, and he was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Hey, I need a place." The place had 3 rooms, really nice, apartment. It was like a penthouse, a big living room, a den, kitchen, 3 rooms, 3 bedrooms, and a porch, and a drive. Like a parking lot in the back. There was it was like a Mexican bodega on the bottom floor, and I think the folks lived on the top floor, but we were in the middle. And he was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, so we need a place." And he was like, "Well, I gotta paint this place first. You want to paint it for me, boy?" And he said, "You want to paint it for me, boy?" He called me boy. I was like, "Yeah, mister. I wouldn't mind painting it for you." And he was like, "Oh, you said you paint the walls?" Yeah, he said you could paint the walls. And the ceiling, I was like, I don't know if I could do the whole ceiling, but how about the walls? He said, man, just paint the walls. And he let me paint the walls. And we had the nicest apartment as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned. I made my own choice. But I had Ant in there, Govanks, All right, I'm going by nicknames. Ant, Goldbanks, Reg. That's not his real name. So yeah.
Okay.
And Yayo. Yeah, that's his nickname too.
Okay.
And it was awesome. That was the best apartment. That was the best. Yeah. Before this place, man, that was my biggest place. Yeah, and we had a lazy boy in there. Yeah, we didn't buy the couch. Went down to Lazy Boy and said, "All right, we're gonna rent that for the next 2 years." And yeah, I mean, it was just like what, $10 a month? That was nothing to have a Lazy Boy. Do you know how nice that couch is? Yo,
comfy too.
I got pictures. But yeah. So when you get to that age, you start to realize how powerful you are, and sometimes that realization can be a double-edged sword because you start smelling yourself, as Ta-Nehisi would say, and you start thinking that you can do anything, and I mean you really can, but then again, you don't know everything that it takes to get to point B, and you don't really realize how much your parents are supporting you. Maybe not explicitly, but implicitly. You just don't really notice all of that until you're really on your own, and you're never really on your own. You never, you know what? Parents got your back until the day you die, man. Like, or to the day they die. Like, they really, really got your back, and you can make your own choices, but those are always going to affect other people, and you should always be cognizant of that. Blah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Wow. That was my 1 minute. I said one.
It was 1 minute. Well, sadly, we have come to the wrap up for this episode, and the wrap up for the book. I don't want to say end of an era because, we're just starting this era. We got 8 episodes in the bank. We haven't even gotten to episode 10. But we definitely invite you guys to keep joining us, keep listening, keep interacting with us. Like, we appreciate it. We appreciate that you could be literally anywhere in the world. There's Microsoft Flight Simulator. There's shows and streaming. You could literally be anywhere in the world, but you've chosen to sit here, be with us, listen with us, converse with us, interact with us. And I gotta say, I appreciate it.
Arigato gozaimasu, right? It means thank you in this place where I am. I think most people know what arigato means, but arigato gozaimasu, all right? My brothers out there.
Well, I mean,
the beautiful struggle.
You want to say arigato gozaimashita for everything that you have done up until now, no?
No, I would say arigato gozaimasu myself right now because I mean, yeah, you could have that, present perfect tense to it, but I'm saying arigatou gozaimasu for what you're doing right now and what you're going to do going forward as you continue to listen across time and space.
All right. This has been Ace from Cross Culture.
And your boy Tipsy Japan telling you that's what it is. Peace.
Till next time, stay prayed up. Be blessed. Peace.